If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.
Hello, do you like New Japan Pro Wrestling? Are you a Shin Nihon freak? If so, check out the Super J-Cast with Joel and Damon on the Voices of Wrestling Podcast Network.
And even if you fucking hate New Japan Pro Wrestling, listen to the Super J-Cast anyway. Not just for our great show reviews, analysis, and pastrami sandwiches, but there's also usually some dick jokes somewhere in the obligatory opening 30 minutes of absolute nonsense we chat about every single week. That's the Super J-Cast for all the best talk about New Japan Pro Wrestling, crisps, and pornography.
Hey everybody, my name is Jesse Collins and I am the host of the Gentleman's Wrestling Podcast, a show right here on the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. On the Gentleman's Wrestling Podcast, we take a deep look at individual issues and stories that are going on in the wrestling world. Each episode is about a different topic and we take a thorough and educated look at things ranging from current booking trends to breakdowns on individual performers and angles to investigations into different fan cultures across the industry. In addition, we keep a close eye on the wrestling media, and as a professional journalist, I bring a unique perspective to how current issues in wrestling are being covered and discussed through the wrestling media. We have a revolving series of guests from across wrestling punditry joining us on each episode, and we hope that you make the choice to give us a listen on wherever you get your podcast from.
This podcast is a member of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Visit voicesofwrestling.com to hear the rest of our great podcasts, as well as show reviews, columns, opinions, and updates across the world of wrestling.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Super J-Cast. I'm Joel, joined by David McDonald. It is Wednesday, 14th of January 2026. This is episode 395. How are you?
We are good. We are we're basking in our praise for our wonderful show last week, which I would wholeheartedly agree was one of our better ones. Definitely enjoyed doing that. And as we closed that show, we were like, well, we could probably do another goddamn hour. And lo and behold, that's what we're going to do here at least. So fun stuff. Good time to be a New Japan fan, I think.
There's a lot of pressure that comes with watching what you know is a great show with great matches that's going to be momentous in turning the tide for New Japan. And you think, fuck, I've got to do this justice on audio. But every single time, Damon, we just rise to the occasion, knock it out of the park. And as soon as we click stop on the recording last week, I was like, fuck, that was an all-timer. We absolutely smashed that.
Yeah. I when we got done, it wasn't too long after that Cheryl will be like, hey, how was your show? How's your and I always kind of say the same thing. I'm like, oh, award winning. But I was like, I just looked at her. I was like, I think we had a really great show. She goes, you went for like 3 hours. I was like, yeah. As I said, when we could easily go on 4. There was plenty to talk about. That's helpful, right? And it's impactful, and everybody's got eyeballs on it. So, I mean, there's plenty of opinion to be had. But again, just the fact that you were there and the trip and just everything all rolled into one ball of wax was really it was convenient. And I'll tell you what, I will almost guarantee you that you go talk to the boys at Keeping It Strong Style or anybody who was there. they're all going to have their great best show of the year because it was a great show. It really was, and it had so many great moments, and it had so much. I'm sure a lot of those guys could talk about just being in Japan for the time and take 4 hours. So, it makes our jobs a little bit easier when you have good shit to talk about.
I'm really, really missing Fraser's breakfasts.
I bet.
He cooked a mean breakfast. Is that toast? Like the shokupan, the sort of soft, milky white bread with absurdly thick slices.
Mm.
I could just sit and eat a whole loaf of that. I ate close to that.
I love it.
I had a bit of natto as well. There's fermented soybeans, some really nice sausages. There's bacon on the second day as well. Eggs. As I'm describing it, it sounds basic, but it wasn't. It was so much more than the sum of its parts.
I know, and I'm sure the environment helps, just being in that beautiful scenery, and the company, it all adds up. It all adds to the equation. It does. I'm not saying it was, but even just like stuff that like you would eat normally would taste probably 10 times better just in that environment. But yeah, it looks like everybody had a great time, and I'm looking at other pictures. I'm so happy for him because he, it's kind of like a dream come true, and just the hoops that he had to jump through to make that work is pretty remarkable. But yeah, he's a good dude. He deserves all the flowers. He worked hard, busted his ass to make it happen. So, it's good things happen to good people.
I want to put over another podcast as well because I have really been enjoying listening to Strong Style Stories.
Oh,
so that's the new podcast featuring Kevin Kelly and other Joel, London Joel. So I think they're about 4 or 5 episodes deep at the moment, sort of going through Kevin's time in New Japan. They did a really great episode talking about Okada and why he left New Japan. So some really new insight there, some sort of perspectives and things that I hadn't heard before. They did a really good episode going through Wrestle Kingdom 10 and the live experience of that for Kevin calling that show. So, if anyone's not checked it out, it's the praise I've heard has been unanimous. There's no one who's listened to it and said, that was nothing special. Everyone I know who's tuned into it has really enjoyed it. So do check those guys out, Strong Style Stories, because it's a nice sort of complement to the kind of podcast that we do and we work stiff to, keeping it strong style, where it's the more sort of contemporary New Japan, but here sort of going back and sort of living through the glory years of New Japan from the perspective of Kevin Kelly, I've found really enjoyable and insightful. So
he's always been a great guest. Don't get me wrong; like he's always been fantastic on our show. It's kind of like, okay, so I mean, we could have him on and talk about current stuff, but I'll be honest with you, I don't even know if he's watching current stuff. I don't know. But yeah, good job. And Joel's a good guy too. I haven't talked to him in a million years, but he's a good dude. He's a good guy. So yeah, I'm glad that is kicking off. Everybody's basking in the success. Everyone's basking in the success. That's good. A high tide raises all ships. Is that the saying? So good. Good. I love it.
And if you're listening and not subscribed to the Patreon, do get involved in that. So for $5, you can join the Deli, where there is a near constant stream of exclusive behind-the-scenes news that you're not going to find anywhere else. And also the $10 tier, one of the bonuses you'll get there is the bonus audio. And I've got a few interesting things lined up there. I'm going to be doing our annual predictions show. So a year ago, I asked everyone to give their predictions for 2025 New Japan, what would happen. So I'll be going through those, seeing who was correct. And please do get your predictions in for what's going to happen in 2026. So I'll read out your predictions for the upcoming year as well. So that thread is available for anyone on Patreon. You don't need to be a paid subscriber to leave your predictions in there. So even if you're not a subscriber, drop your prediction in, and then maybe later on down the line, you might find yourself subscribing and want to check out the show, or you might want to buy the show as a one-off. And I've also got Jay Michael lined up. We're going to be talking on Friday, giving his sort of big picture thoughts about Wrestle Kingdom and talking through his New Japan primer. So he's written one of his Titanic pieces for Voices of Wrestling with a primer for upcoming year in New Japan. So it'll be really interesting to see what his thoughts are on the upcoming landscape in New Japan, because we've not had a chance to really talk to that many people about New Japan since I've been back. So yeah, get on board the Patreon and there'll be a lot of good stuff coming. And the next thing I want to talk about is Shingo. You see the good news for Shingo? He's got married.
I saw that. Yeah, I did. Congratulations. It's finally settling down, finally putting some roots down, if you will. Yeah, good for him. I mean, yeah.
I like
it's
the story
funny
about him leaving Natsupoi in the car for 2 hours while he went to the gym.
I know. Well, listen, what are you going to do? It's a life of a wrestler. It's funny because my algorithm on YouTube, I'm all hooked into more lonely Japanese salarymen. They're all miserable. They're all lonely. And I'm kind of like, why don't you all just like form a club or something? Just like meet once a week or something. You're all lonely. You're all miserable. You're all, they always talk about the distance between them and their wives and how the silence is worse than any physical pain. And I'm like, just fucking talk to her, for crying out loud. That'd be a good start. Why this leads to Shingo is that I saw that and I was like, oh no, now he's going to be he's going to be posting videos about how lonely he is in about 5 years. Hopefully not, but yes, I did see that. So good news there.
They're both wrestlers, they're both.
I know, but they're both winding down. Well, at least Shingo, you would think, would be starting to wind down. I don't know. Those were the first things I thought of. I was like, oh no. Am I gonna get? He's gonna be producing YouTube videos about being a lonely Japanese pro wrestler.
Yeah, no, good for them. It's always nice to see people finding a bit of joy and love in the world. I'm a bit distracted at the moment, Damon. I'm watching the first leg of the League Cup semi-final, Chelsea against Arsenal. It's 1-0 at the moment. And we're on the attack here. You get live commentary here.
Let's go.
The goal!
No way.
We've done a goal. It's 2-0 to Arsenal. It's the big fraud, Victor Gyökeres, who was our star signing this summer, but it's been a bit crap. But he scored a tap in from about 3 yards, so well done. Less than that. He was practically on the goal line.
Listen, whatever it takes. Garbage goals are still goals. There's not an asterisk next to them.
What's the next thing? Oh, the Okada thing.
Yes. What about it?
So there was a video that appeared on the internet of Yano and Okada.
Oh, yes.
Doing a live stream together. Okada basically complaining that the New Japan management never said thank you to him for all the hard work he put in for Tanahashi's retirement. I don't know how much of this is a shoot or a work, but Andrew has a question about it. It says, Okada blasted Kidani's lack of gratitude on a live stream with Yano. Hiromu called out a similar lack of gratitude on Forbidden Door. What can New Japan do to fix the problem when it's the owner of their company?
Show gratitude. That's pretty simple. I would think that was a faux pas in every wrestling locker room. I don't know how. I mean, I haven't been in one in many, many moons, Joe, but it was beaten into your head of you shake everyone's hand. And I don't care if they're the guy that's pushing a broom, cleaning up popcorn, or the guy setting up the ring, or the person selling tickets, or the person selling T-shirts, or whoever is in that locker room. You make sure that's the thing. So that was a little bit surprising. I mean, I don't know how New Japan's Tokyo Dome locker room is set up in the sense of how spaced out people are, where people are, if it's even feasible to do so. But that is a pro wrestling thing. So that was kind of shocking to me to hear him say that. Now, other people might take that as he didn't get enough thank yous. Maybe he did get some thank yous, maybe not by certain people. I don't know. You would think that they would make the time to make that happen, the guys in your main event. So once again, it does kind of fall back to, and this is not, it's a common thread that he's not a pro wrestling guy. Like, I don't think he understands what that means to a pro wrestling locker room. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know the guy, and I don't know what he knows and what he doesn't know. I feel like he's been around long enough to kind of know that that's what you should be doing. Maybe I'm not making excuses for the guy, but you would think that you would know that's something that you do. And again, I say that it's something that you do. At least that's what you did 20 years ago, 15 years ago, whatever it was, in a locker room in the States. That is one thing that is drilled into your head. So, I mean, that's the only logical reason I can think of is A, he didn't know, which I find a little bit hard to believe, and B, just logistically, he couldn't make it work. He couldn't do it. Or management couldn't. I don't know. It just seems kind of preposterous to me.
What I would say is I don't think that happened by accident. I don't think Yano's thinking, oh no, I've done this stream and now Okada's shooting on Kidani. I'm sure that was all very calculated and deliberate, which, you know, makes me wonder if they are using Okada as a mouthpiece to maybe say some stuff that is on their minds as well. That, you know, they're thinking that might get taken more seriously if it's someone like Okada saying it. But I would dare say that had been planned beforehand, that topic of conversation was going to come up in the live stream, because from what we know about Yano, he's a very influential man backstage in New Japan, right. And you know, he and Okada are buddies, so not for nothing, as you would say.
Yeah, no, good point. Very good point. Look, it's pro wrestling. We're all getting worked. We're all getting worked.
Right, the other thing that's come out is Sanada, and there was a statement from the company saying that he's going to be stepping away from the company with no time frame for return in mind. Now, I do have some news about what this might be, the whispers, the rumors that I've heard. That's not behind the deli. I'm not going to tell anyone what it is, but he might be gone for some time, is all I'll say. If you want the specifics on that, you go and join the deli. But it did bring up a point to me that I was thinking earlier, and then, you know, me and Chris Sampson were having a chat about it before, about at what point we start to really analyze this pattern of New Japan's champions suffering things that are putting them on the shelf long term, so suffering long-term health issues. So, you know, I was thinking about this watching the Tanahashi retirement ceremony and seeing all these former champions come limping out in various states of disrepair, and thinking of guys like Okada himself, Kenny Omega, Ibushi, Will Ospreay, Sanada, Naito, even Jay White, who have given so much to New Japan, and really sort of gave everything, put their bodies on the line, repeatedly dropped on their heads for our entertainment. Is this something that New Japan, you think, should be re-examining for the longevity of their wrestlers?
Doesn't matter.
This is just life cycle of a pro wrestler in general.
I hate to say it doesn't matter, because guess what? A pro wrestler is going to pro wrestle, and they know the risks. They know, but at the time, they're just there in the moment, and they're willing to do stuff that, again, they're putting that shit all on a credit card, man. You're hoping at the time that you don't get hurt, and you're hoping at the time that the guy you're in the ring with is there to help you and protect you. But it's all on credit. Like eventually that bill comes due, and the hips don't quite do what the hips need to do, and the knees don't do what the knees need to do. And that only gets worse and worse and worse and worse. The office could absolutely be like, hey, cut it down on the high risk stuff. And you know, I wouldn't be surprised if during the height of New Japan Pro Wrestling, conversations weren't had between senior members and, you know, you think a Shibata may have gotten a word or two saying, hey, tone it down, or, you know, Ibushi, or maybe, but I feel like it would fall on deaf ears, because guess what? The things that we really love about New Japan Pro Wrestling, not necessarily the death-defying stuff, But even then, that's all you're talking about. You're looking at your TV wide-eyed like, holy fucking shit, this is great. Well, yeah, there is a bit of a is juxtaposition the word I'm looking for, in between you being a fan of guys putting their bodies on the line and, again, putting everything on credit. Old wrestlers, no matter what the era, they don't get around that well. I don't know how many signings or conventions or what have you people have been to, but old age is a part of it. But these guys physically are fucking beat up. Why? Because they're doing a thing that beats up their body. What they do is not natural. And I know I hate to keep saying it, but eventually the credit card comes due. And I know, but to answer your question, I can't imagine that conversations weren't already had, and it weren't had in All Japan in the 90s, and weren't had, in, I don't know, but yet, pro wrestling is going to pro wrestle. And guys are going to do shit that they probably shouldn't do because at the time it felt like the right thing to do, or the adrenaline was going, or whatever. They're going to do. And once again, I won't sit here and wag my finger at a pro wrestler and say, don't do those crazy high spots and don't do those don't
do all the cool shit that we love to see.
Right. Because I hate to break the bad news to you. I would be a fucking hypocrite if I did that. In the same breath, they're adults too. Like, they're going to make their own fucking decisions. I'm going to tell a grown fucking man what to do and what not to do. It's just not going to happen. But everyone knows the risks. Everyone knows the risks. It's no secret to no one.
Let them crash.
Let them crash. I say let them crash. If you want them to get dressed up in fucking pajamas and roll around the ring and grab each other's ankles for 20 minutes, great. I don't think that's what anybody's signing up for.
Just goes to show, doesn't it? Evil, smartest guy in the room.
Yeah. Seriously. I always said...
I will say this, actually. All those people I've listed, they do keep coming back for more, don't they?
Yes, they do. It's addictive. That's a high and a drug. And there's plenty of wrestlers that would tell you that their high is that. And I know there's plenty of jokes in there, and then the high is the painkillers after. But seriously, it's a rush. And yeah, they keep coming back for more. I mean, Naito, we all know how banged up he is. That motherfucker can't stay away. And again, who am I to tell him not to? They know what they're doing, to a certain degree. And again, I sit here and it's not like this is just for pro wrestlers. There's football players that you could probably rattle off who are well past their prime but couldn't stop. Baseball player, hockey players, basketball, you name it. Every sport has it. You just can't say no. Even though the body's saying, I've had enough, the brain is saying, no, I need more and more and more. And, this is some of the things that happen with that.
All right, so I'm just going to dip through New Year Dash and sort of pick out some talking points that we didn't get to last week. So I want to talk about the junior division because we had Francesco Akira, who made an appearance on the show and attacked Taiji Ishimori, and then Hiromu made the save. So that was quite interesting. And I was wondering what you made of that, if that's maybe setting up some sort of junior three-way situation or a single situation or maybe a tag situation. But we've got Doki versus Desperado coming up for the junior title. Right. Just your general thoughts on the state of the junior division. What would you like to see moving forward? Because it was a source of great frustration to us, and I wasn't impressed with the offering at Wrestle Kingdom. So what do you think New Japan can do to fix this?
Get a little adventurous, maybe get a little... Like it just felt like a lot of safe choices were made in the past couple of weeks. And I'd like to see them kind of barrel through that. And this is the division that traditionally doesn't necessarily have a problem with breaking from tradition and kind of giving and throwing surprises at you. Again, they don't have to go crazy, but I think we're all somewhat salivating for the Acuras, the Fujitas, the just a new crop, and not the Ishimoris and the Hiromus and all that. Like I think everybody's looking for that type of change and that type of energy. To a certain degree, you have that with the tag situation. And again, I'm not overly concerned because I feel like they could pivot very quickly. And I feel like, quite honestly, once they get past the Doki Despy match, I don't know. I kind of feel like 26 will see that change. We will see that change. And it may be slower because, again, they do things slower, but it wouldn't take much, it doesn't feel like. So, yeah, while it does feel like we're a little stale and a little stagnant, I truly believe that they have the opportunity, and it feels like they're already put the wheels in motion, so to speak, for a different feel and a different change, a different type of change in this year.
Yeah, I think if I'm thinking about guys I'd like to see platforms, I would like to see more from Acura. So that was a sign that they're moving in the right direction. Like if I had to kind of map out what I think would happen, probably Despy wins it back. And then I think it would be quite cool to see Acura get belted up. I think it's long overdue. I think he's proved that he can deliver at the very highest level. And then maybe use that to kickstart the Fujita thing again. I could see Acura and Fujita being like generational rivals, like having your sort of your domestic guy against your foreign guy rivalry. And then what I would like to see, I don't know if they move back to it this year, but if Fujita is going to be the ace of the division, which by all accounts it sounds like he is, like it sounds like it's a guy that everyone in the company is really high on, and it's just a question of when, not if. I want to see him resume the rivalry with Master Wato, and I know a lot of people quite dismissive of Wato, and he's not really been booked for anything of note in the past 12 months. But go back and watch the match between Fujita and Wato in Best of the Super Juniors, because they looked like they hated each other and they beat the piss out of each other. And it was very unexpected, but very, very good. And it made me think, this could be the seeds of, again, another generational rivalry between two dojo guys. And I think that would breathe new life into Master Wato. So again, if I'm looking for guys to be platformed this year, I think whilst the idea of Master Wato might not enthuse many people, I think doing it across the ring from Kosei Fujita would breathe a lot of excitement and spice and life into Master Wato. So yeah, Acura, Fujita, Wato, that's where I'd like it to be moving, just away from the Despy, Hiromu, Ishimori.
Yeah.
We've had that. They were great. They still are great to some extent, but let's move on to the new era, please.
Yeah, I mean, you figure, the whole Kushida, taking that big pinfall to Ishimori at Wrestle Kingdom, that was, over 5 years ago. It was 6 years ago, 7 years ago. How long ago was that? A long fucking time. And it does feel like we've been with those same type of guys for the longest time. And I know everybody got excited when Despy felt like he was the top of the mountain, so to speak. And again, this is not a anti-Despy thing by any stretch, but okay, I think it's time for new challengers and new faces to be at the top. And like I said, I'm not worried in the sense that we have no one. Where are we going to find this person? We have, that's going to take a long. It's there. They just have to cross the finish line with it, and I think they will this year.
We also saw on New Year Dash the official formation of the new faction Unbound Company with Yota Tsuji at the helm.
Terrible name.
So there's still some lack of clarity there. Obviously, we need to wait and see how the contract situation with a lot of those guys pans out. And I think once they've got some definitive answers there, then we'll know what we're doing moving forward. We have a question from the Beverly, says, please rank all 69 members of the Bullet Club from best to worst in honor of its passing. So what do you think of the formation of Unbound Company, and do you think that that is the end of the Bullet Club, or do you think something might emerge from the embers in the not too distant future?
It does feel like it, doesn't it? I know everybody has put the final nail in the coffin of Bullet Club, and all the write-ups and all the everything with the end of Bullet Club. This new faction just feels like it is, as we like to say, 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag. There's a lot of people that are taking back seats and front seats that probably, in kayfabe land, aren't necessarily happy with that, and maybe in real life to a certain degree. So I don't know. It does feel like this is we're shoehorning in a reason to have a storyline, as opposed to all of these members of this new faction are all buddy and they're all working for the same common goal. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some friction that leads to maybe another faction being made, which warms my heart to no end. But we'll see where that goes.
I just can't shake this idea that Callum Newman somehow revives Bullet Club in the not too distant future. Just all the stuff that he's doing with the echoes of Prince Devitt, it just feels that
and Osprey.
Sort of do. Yeah.
Osprey. I think the Osprey thing was kind of the one thing where everyone, I don't think they weren't necessarily left scratching their head, but they were kind of like, oh, okay, that's an unexpected wrinkle in this. And honestly, you were the first person to kind of bring up Callum resurrecting Bullet Club and doing that. I don't know. I did like that angle, though. I did like the idea of Callum. Dash is it has a little bit of a history of those kind of Bullet Club changes, so to speak. So, yeah, I mean, I was fully expecting that to happen there, and then it gets talked off the ledge, so to speak. I don't know, a little interesting wrinkle, leaving things a little open and giving people opportunity to fantasy book a little bit more. But to answer the question, I think the faction as it stands right now probably won't look the same come December 31st. Let's put it that way.
Yota Tsuji laid out his vision for his new era and his role as the champion of these two titles, which he intends to defend separately. So he said things like, if he's IWGP champion, unless if he's defending that title, he's only doing it in main events. If they try and put him on anywhere else on the card, he's going to refuse to do it, which seems like a hilarious shot at Forbidden Door. And yeah, I think he said he's only going to defend it in Japan against worthy contenders. And the global title, he says he'll defend that one abroad. That's for the foreign scum. It's just like the kind of mission statement that, this IWGP title is too pure. It's not good enough. You foreign fans are not good enough. You're not worthy of seeing this title on foreign soil. And everyone's like, yay! I agree with you.
I know.
We're scum. We don't deserve it.
Right. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. And let's be very clear. A lot of times these guys do go off on, tangents where, they kind of just say things and it doesn't really come to pass.
Right. And how often have we had a mission statement, like an ethos for a title, and then about 2 months later, it's become something completely different?
Correct. Right. So I take all of that with a bit of salt, but look, what he's doing is he's trying to, at least via a promo, is establish that, okay, I'm the guy. I'm going to set some rules, being that I have this big boy belt in front of me here.
Goal!
Oh, sorry. Here we go. 3 up?
3-1.
Nice.
Yes, 3-1.
He was announced recently, Joel, to be attending that Trenton, New Jersey show at the end of February.
At gunpoint, the A-team bundling him on the plane.
I know. Well, they told him he was going to Hawaii, and they're just going to lie. Just be like, what? This is not Hawaii. Trust me. He'll in February, Trenton. Yeah. I'm probably going to go to this show, Joel. Just FYI, I'm probably going to go. Again, it's like an hour. It's like an hour drive. I feel silly not going. So we'll see. But yeah, he was announced. So we'll see. We'll see if that if his wish comes true.
And last point from New Year Dash was the wonderful main event that we saw.
That was good.
Of the IWGP Tag Team Championship match, where Knockout Brothers, Oscar and Yuto Ice, successfully defended against the World Tag League winners, Ryohei Oiwa and Zack Sabre Jr., 26 minutes, and they just, again, beat the crap out of each other. And incredible atmosphere. Just brilliant. That's exactly what we wanted to see. And I heard some people saying, why didn't they put that on Wrestle Kingdom? I would have loved to have seen it on Wrestle Kingdom, and I thought it would have gone down really well. Wouldn't have got as much time, but
you're going to be shaving off. You're going to be shaving off a Hiroshi Tanahashi victory lap. He had to take two. So that's
we'd have to cut out at least half of Naito's entrance.
That's right.
Can't be doing that.
No.
But it's an excellent match. I mean, nothing surprising from Knockout Brothers, who I think I know they've not been back that long, but we know we can expect high quality, high intensity, hard hitting matches from them. But I was particularly impressed with Oiwa in this match, and it looked like he really found something in himself. And I think there's probably a lot of truth behind the comments that Yuto and Oscar made about him during World Tag League, that he's a bit of a salaryman wrestler, that he's comfortable with his sport, he's got his paycheck, he's got his apartment, he's just happy to turn up and be part of the company. But it seems at New Year Dash he felt something different, like he sensed maybe the love of the crowd and reached those extra gears. And there's really, I think, a huge opportunity for him. And I hope someone backstage, maybe Zach or one of his other teammates, just grabbed him by the lapels and just shook him, was like, look, motherfucker, the ball is there for you to take it. This is a new era. It's time to step up and get with the program, because otherwise you're going to turn into another Shota Umino. So I was really encouraged from what I saw from Oiwa, and I think the kind of burgeoning rivalry with Yuto Ice and he was really exciting as well. And they did, the Knockout Brothers did a big rah-rah promo afterwards saying, we're staying. They talked about having interest from abroad, from WWE, but they're not having it. They're going to stay with New Japan. And just really good vibes all around. And I thought it was quite interesting that after that, we had Yuya Uemura and Shota Umino, the tag team U-Show, coming out. And Shota Umino getting booed then, which I don't know if that was just part of the foreign presence there. But that seemed odd to me. Like, I can get people booing him being crowbarred into a big main event spot. But as a tag team wrestler, I think that's great. I think we should be enjoying him. And that, that's a really good lane for him at the moment. But they've got a number one contenders match coming up with the Black Saints, Ishii and Taichi, which I'm really excited by. That will be a big bomb match, and it's nice to see Ishii back and Taichi being used in something meaningful. This is exactly what I see from these guys, being used to help establish this next generation. Like, there seems to be a clear vision here. We're moving into the promised land that we wanted for so long. So yeah, just words on the state of the heavyweight tag division.
I mean, that if that match is any indication, like, we're in good shape. That match was really fucking good. And I know we have a little ways to go, and it feels like there's been opportunities laid at the feet of Oiwa. He hadn't had a bad 2025. Like, I just think people expected a little bit more. But overall, his year was not terrible. Knockout Brothers, I'm digging a lot more every day, dude. And I know it feels like I'm so late to the party on some of these, and I get it. It takes a bit more for things to warm up to me. Whether that's, I don't know. That's just me. And you seem to find it early and keep pointing your finger at it and keep pointing your finger at it, and then it blossoms, and you wind up with legitimate stars.
Like the Regal twins from New Japan Strong, who I was the first to point out were going to be.
What?
What? The Regal twins. Everyone remembers the Regal twins from New Japan Strong. Come on.
Yeah.
The twins. I'm always going on about the bloody twins.
Yeah. That said, they're look, between that and I love the idea of the youngsters being a tag team, and it's all like the excitement that I have for the future doesn't even necessarily involve anyone who's been with the company for 10 years or even over 7 years. Like, it seems like it's a nice crop of young talent who's incredibly talented that's going to take it to the next level, which has me more excited because there's plenty more runway with that. Like, I don't know how much more runway we have with like Goto and Yoshihashi, or even if I don't know any Zach and partner X or whatever. But it just seems like the tag
could be Okada and Henare. They've got matching skullets now, so they could be
in the mix.
Yeah, or even Shingo Driller. They were really good during Tag League. There's so many different directions they could go, and it's such a great opportunity to use what is a very deep and talented roster.
And it doesn't feel like they're trying to shoehorn in again guys who just have nothing to do. Like, it feels like there's a conscious effort to kind of make this not only mean something but interesting to the people watching it, which is not always a thing that they're 2 for 2 on. So yeah, no, I think like I said, if that tag match is any indicator, we're in for a good fucking year. We really are. And here's the thing too. It's not like the tag titles have been struggling in 2025 either. Like, I thought the tag titles were pretty solid across the board. No, I feel pretty good about it. I feel really good about the tag situation, and there's plenty of times where, oh my God, you could just throw it right in the fucking bin. It didn't matter. Feels like it matters now.
Will says, what are some of the traps New Japan has to avoid with Yuto as he grows in popularity and his star rises? Should New Japan try to focus on the team with Oscar more or try to push him as a singles ASAP?
It's. I know people want. I think people think of the tag division as a stepping stone toward singles greatness, and I get that. I can understand where people have that thought process. I would only caution, let's just let it breathe a little bit. Let's let him do this now. And because I'm thoroughly enjoying it, and I feel like it's only going to get better. And trust me, those days will come when the singles titles come and he's in important programs and he's on, upper mid to up on the card, top of the card. Those days are going to come. Don't worry. I don't think he's going to get stuck in the mud of mid card, lower mid card, in the foreseeable future. Like, that's not happening. And I know that there are plenty of people that you could point your finger at and be like, well, what about him? And what about him? And it happened to him. Yes, it does happen. Truth be told, I'm not worried about that right now. To me, I'm taking the position of do great now, and greatness will follow. Trust me.
All right, a few random questions before we get on to talking about some new beginning announcements. Ruari says, could Bushiroad invest more in both New Japan / Stardom going forward? Try to keep the foreigners more like War Dogs and try and do more than just US-based shows.
Well, there's not a lot of US-based shows. That's number one. That said, they are doing G1, which depending upon how you look at it, could be, yep, smart move, go for it, or boy, that's really risky and you might lose your shirt. It depends on what you mean by invest in. Like, is it just throwing money at wrestlers? No, I don't think that's the way to go. Is it infrastructure? Is it have great shows, like true New Japan Pro Wrestling shows, not hybrid Ring of Honor, local indie promotion, and a New Japan mid-carder on top? No, that doesn't work. We've seen that doesn't work. I wouldn't want them to waste their money doing that. No, if they want to throw money on, again, infrastructure and having, you don't need several. You need a handful, 2, 3 shows in the U.S. and make them impactful and make people want to go, as opposed to, I got better things to do on a Saturday night, right? Like, you want people to go. You want to make people feel as if they're going to something, dare I say, special. And when I sat on this show and I was like, New Japan Pro Wrestling has killed fucking Philadelphia. It's dead. Because when it felt special, the line wrapped around 2300, wrapped around the fucking building to get in. And the last show I was at, and it wasn't even the last show that they ran, legitimately, I parked my car in front of the building and walked in with like maybe 10 minutes ago before the opening bell rang. Night and day. Make it feel special. So again, you want to invest money? Great. I'm all for it. I want that to be the case, but not just throwing money at random guy who just got released by WWE.
Yeah, I think there's every indicator that they are starting to spend more money this year. I mean, I'm assuming guys like Andrade don't come cheap, and stuff like Knockout Brothers. I'm assuming they've been offered something that's making it worth their while, that they're happy to stay, because assuming they're not still on young line contracts. So yeah, we'll see. But I definitely think it would be good for them to just secure their domestic talent to make sure that guys are happy. Basically, you don't want a grumbling locker room. So I'd say that would be the first place to start. Make sure that people feel well remunerated for the work that they do, and take it from there, rather than splashing out on your Matt Riddles and people like that.
Well, apparently management's not going to thank them for it, Joel. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
One more question here. So Tiger Flow says, what's most likely to happen first? Zack Sabre Jr. winning the IWGP title a third time, or Aaron Wolf winning it for the first time?
That's a good question. You think Zach has a three-peat in him? 3-time champ? Or Aaron? Aaron's got a long way to go. You would think. I would say Zach winning the third is closer than Aaron winning his first.
Yeah, I think he probably... There's no rush with Aaron Wolf, is there? I think, you take your time. And just interested to see how they use him moving forward, because I think it was definitely smart to make a big deal out of his debut. But now you've got that out of the way, I wonder what they're going to do with him now. Is he still going to be a special attraction, or can they sort of quietly shuffle him into that role of, being on the undercards and being in multi-man tag team matches, so he can get the proper young line. I'm not saying that he's a young line, but the proper New Japan learning experience where there's not that amount of pressure and scrutiny on him now that he's got the debut out of the way.
Can I throw one word at you? Goldberg. He goes on a fucking Goldberg run. Oh boy, no. That's the thing. It's like, okay, like, I don't want to say getting past Wrestle Kingdom was easy by any stretch of the imagination, because it really wasn't. But now what? Like, he's not going to go on a Goldberg run, you would think. So how do you make him vulnerable and yet still make him feel special? I think that's the thing. So yeah, be curious to see. And again, holding a belt out of the gate might make that a little bit easier. to give him wins when maybe he wouldn't have, maybe. But yeah, unfortunately now's the hard part because there aren't as many flashbulbs, I would think. At least maybe in the beginning there will be, but maybe not as the year goes on. Who knows? It depends on how they really book them. So, in a way, I joke about a Goldberg situation, but Joel, you really got to keep them strong, I would think, right? Just to keep the buzz and the momentum going.
Yeah, I think as far as the Road 2 show goes, I think that's absolutely fine for him to be in the usual multi-man stuff. But I've said what I would like from him for his never openweight title matches, the showcase matches, are those sub 10-minute, I want to say like exhibition matches, but such as something a bit different. If they could sort of move away from the usual formula of New Japan Pro Wrestling match and lean more into the fact that Aaron Wolf is a special attraction and just presenting something a bit different, like not saying pure shoot style, but just kind of lean into that a bit more just to make it stand out a bit rather than the usual back and forth trophy match. I know he's got Ren Narita coming up, and if that is again just House of Torture, can he overcome the odds and getting attacked from all sides, then I don't know if that would be a bit anticlimactic, but it's early days, isn't it? I think it's way too early to start, getting concerned about what we're seeing.
Give him the King of Pro Wrestling title. He can do whatever he wants. He have all the judo matches he wants.
Right. So in terms of match announcements we've got coming up for New Beginning. So this is not an exhaustive list, but these are just the interesting ones, the important ones. So on the 19th of January, we've got Road to New Beginning at Korakuen Hall, where we'll see the Never Openweight Six-Man Championships. Zack Sabre Jr., Oiwa, and Hartley Jackson defending against Hiroki Goto, Yoshihashi, and Oleg Boltin. We also have the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Championships number one contender match, Shota Umino and Yuya Uemura versus Tomohiro Ishii and Taichi. Young Lion Cut round one, Daiki Nagai versus Zayn Jay. And Young Lion Cut round one, Masatori Yasuda versus Tatsuya Matsumoto. So who do you think is going to go through to the latter stages of the Young Lion Cup, and who do you think comes out on top in those two tag title matches?
I know we talked about Matsumoto a lot. I wouldn't be surprised if he's your winner overall. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Never Six-Man title change too. I wouldn't be surprised there as well. And what was the third? What was the other?
It was Yuya and Shota against Taichi and Ishii, number one contenders match.
Gotcha. I would expect Taichi and Ishii losing on that one, just to keep the momentum going for the youngsters. So,
yes,
okay. Which would be good. I think that match would be really good, actually.
Oh yeah, it'll be great. It's going to be a big bomb match. They're going to hit each other really hard, and I'm looking forward to that.
Yep.
And then also we have Tuesday, January 20th, Korakuen Hall. Key matches from this are the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship, Doki against El Desperado. The Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championships, Robbie Eagles and Kosei Fujita against Sho and Kanemaru. And Young Lion Cut round two, so winner of Daiki Nagai and Zayn Jay will face Katsuya Murashima. And the other round two match would be the winner of Masatori Yasuda and Tatsuya Matsumoto against Shoma Kato. So Murashima and Kato have got buys into the second round as they're the more tenured young lions. So yeah, how do you see those four matches playing out?
Well, Despi and Doki in a match that can only happen in Korakuen Hall, apparently.
Yes. Despi's allergic to working crowds higher than 1,500.
Apparently. He's enamored by those orange seats. I would not be surprised to see him to see him win. Young Lions Cup is kind of hard, because a lot of times, and I can't say a lot of times, but it's not necessarily the guy that you think will win because they want to help develop a guy who might, again, not struggling, but might not be the overall favorite to just give him a little bit of a momentum boost. So those are harder to kind of predict for me anyway. And plus, truth be told, it's not like I have a ton of fucking data to work with here. And I'm always forgetting one match. What was the third one?
The junior tag titles.
Oh yeah,
so
Robbie Eagles and Kanemaru and who now? Show. I really hope that we're successfully defending a title here. But if we're successfully defending the title, like unfortunately, the longer they hold those titles, the less we're kind of pivoting to a junior run. I guess they can get a win. I guess it just feels
like they did the whole double champion thing for Donkey. So
I guess, but you would think it would just be a little bit more special. But again, like I hate this idea of waiting. But I also hate the idea of them losing the titles too. I'm going to say successfully defending.
I think, I think Despee's going to win the title from Doki.
Yeah.
And I think Ichiban Sweet Boys will successfully defend as well. As far as the Young Lion Cup goes, I still think Murashima is the guy, and he'll be off on excursion soon. In terms of who else makes it through to the final, that's a bit tricky to call because conventional logic would say Shoma Kato going through, so Kato against Murashima, and they could certainly do that. But I wonder if there might be sort of a twist in there somewhere where one of the less experienced guys go through, like maybe a shock having Zane J going all the way through against Murashima. Maybe. So if that's correct, if I've got that on the right side of the bracket, so so Yasuda. Oh no, it couldn't be Zane J versus Murashima. That would be a semi-final. I'd say let's go with a Yasuda against Murashima final, and then Murashima wins it. So the final will be on February 1st. So we'll preview that when it comes around. But Katsuya Murashima, he's my guy, so he's the one I'm going to be looking at in the early stage of this tournament, at least.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like I said, I think for a lot of people, this will be probably the best opportunity for many to sink their teeth a little bit deeper into this young lion crop and really see what we got. And then I think we can make some better decisions from here.
Yeah, and I'm certain a few of those guys are going to be off sooner rather than later.
Yep.
Yasuda, Murashima, I think they'll be both going on excursion after this tournament's wrapped up. So other matches that have been announced, we have a new beginning in Osaka, February 11th in the Edion Arena, where we've got Never Openweight Championship, Aaron Wolf versus Ren Narita. IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Championships, Oscar and Yuta Ice against the winner of Shota Inuya versus Ishii and Taichi. We also have Gabe Kidd versus Andrade El Idolo. That was very funny, actually, backstage. Andrade talking about Gabe Kidd going, who is this fucking guy? That was very funny to me. And I think Callum Newman against David Finlay has been mentioned as well as being a potential one for that show. Then we've got Fantastica Mania after that, and the New Beginning USA show in Trenton. That's February 27th, so that's a little while away. But so far announced for that, we've got Takeshita versus El Fantasma for the TV Championship. They've said Yota Tsuji's going to be in action, so possibly facing the winner of that Kid Andrade match for the global title. They said Despee's going to be in action, Oleg Boltin, Ishii, who, lest we forget, is the strong openweight champion.
Wow.
We've got Suri in action, and there's some speculation as well that we might get Knockout Brothers against Monster Sauce, Alex Zane and Lance Archer, just based on some postings, some tweetings, some eye emojis, but that's by no means official yet. So yeah, a lot of good stuff coming up just around the corner for us.
It shouldn't be bad. I mean, that doesn't sound like a bad Trenton show, to be honest with you. Yeah, we'll see. Like I said, I can't imagine me not being there. Like, honestly, they have like first level seats for like $30. Like, yeah, I can swing that. So don't be surprised. Don't be surprised. All right, that's a good lead up here for what we got coming up in the end of January and February. What else we got on the docket here tonight?
No, it's just interesting to look at the tickets for New Beginning in Osaka. So the caveat there being that Osaka didn't get their usual show in the autumn, I think. So there might be a bigger turnout than usual. So there's some sections sold out already. But Sakura Genesis, I think, will be the better benchmark of where we are in the post-Tanahashi world. Last question then before we move on to awards. Doom FPL says this is the most fresh and exciting New Japan has felt since the pandemic. What stars and storylines are you most interested in following in 2026?
Well, I mean, obviously we got a new world champion, so anything involving Yota Tsuji has my interest and has my ear and has my eyeballs. I think the tag situation is fresh and fun, and that should lead to lots of really solid matches as well. We got a never open weight championship that, again, there's a ton of potential and a ton. Let's just see how we keep the momentum going. We don't want him to fall into, okay, he's just a guy. We need him to feel a little bit more special than that. We have Will Ospreay kind of dipping his toes back in New Japan waters for however long that might be. We've got Callum Newman kind of taking the next step. I mean, there's plenty to sink your teeth into. It does feel fresh and exciting. And again, there is always that post Wrestle Kingdom high that you get on, like thinking of the possibilities, and then you get into March and you're like, what the fuck? What's happening? New Beginnings, always a fun show. New Japan Cup is always, solid. So I feel very comfortable, at least into April. And then we'll see where we go from here.
Right, that brings us on to our awards then. Exciting times. What order? Should we just start with the big ones or work our way up to the big ones?
Yeah. Let's just I don't think there's many surprises, to be honest with you.
No.
I think a lot of people, especially people who listen to the show, and again, you were voting via our Discord. I think people, it's like if we just read off the categories, people would be like, oh, yep, of course. But yeah, I mean, start wherever you want. You can start wherever you want. But
let's do Wrestler of the Year. So I'll start by reminding you who last year's winners were. So last year, Wrestler of the Year, third place we had Gabe Kidd, second place David Finlay, first place Zack Sabre Jr. This year, in third place, we have Hiroshi Tanahashi and Hiroki Goto in second place, and Zack Sabre Jr. again, back-to-back wins in our Wrestler of the Year poll.
I mean, deserving.
ZSJ.
Yeah, I mean, like he was the glue throughout the entire year that you could count on to have a great match. Hiroki Goto, I think, surprised everyone and had a year that over exceeded everyone's expectations going in. And winning the title was just such a great moment, and some of those defenses were pretty awesome as well. Tanahashi, I mean, the guy had more singles matches than I think anyone else on the roster, which is saying something. Like he left it all out there, which is pretty cool. Some of the matches, were good. Some of them were really good. Some of them were great. So. Yeah, I for me, absolutely. Now, there are a couple people, I think Finlay absolutely deserved some flowers for the year that he had. But, yeah, I mean, that
he was in
top
fifth place, Finlay.
Yeah. And even Yota Tsuji, to a certain degree, who was wound up in fourth place. Yeah, all solid years. Takeshita, he had plenty of votes as well. So, yeah, but I'm kind of I'm right in line with that top three, pretty much.
Yeah, same. I think if Goto has been more of a fixture in the second half of the year, the fact obviously that he missed out on G1 hurt his cause, but certainly enough from the first half of the year to earn him second place. And just echo what you said about Zach. Match of the year there. Now, here's an interesting thing I've noticed. So, match of the year last year, the winner was Zack Sabre Jr. versus Bryan Danielson from New Beginning in Osaka, February 11th. Second place was the War Dogs United Empire Dog Pound Steel Cage match, also New Beginning in Osaka, February 11th. And the third place match was Kazuchika Okada versus Bryan Danielson from January 4th, Wrestle Kingdom. Now, this year, we also have two matches from New Beginning in Osaka, February 11th. So, It's kind of standing out to me as that's a show you don't want to be missing. New Beginning on Osaka. New Japan put the best foot forward there. So third place, Gabe Kidd versus Yota Tsuji from New Beginning. Second place, Zack Sabre Jr. versus Hiroki Goto, New Beginning, where Goto won the title. And first place, Gabe Kidd versus Kenny Omega from Wrestle Dynasty, January 5th.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing that, and it kind of does follow the pattern of how we were talking about New Japan and what we were feeling about New Japan. And I think, I truly believe we're a mirror to what goes on with a lot of people who watch this product. And it is interesting that the top three were all in the very beginning of the year, and how high we were in January and February, and then the fourth ranked match was Goto and Zack from Tanahashi Jam, which is pretty interesting. Also, the first G1 match to hit was Takeshita and Zack from G1, day 18. And usually a G1 match is like front and center. It's like, I can't remember a time when we had our awards where a G1 match was not at least top 4. So that's saying something about how the year went. Vibes were high in the beginning of the year. That's why I'm a little bit cautious in the sense of I don't want to get too excited, because we have had a history of a post Wrestle Kingdom hangover, and then boy, we fall off a fucking cliff. And this year kind of has that same pattern of January being pretty solid, and we're waiting to see what February is. But last year, and also I think needs to be pointed out as well, Gabe Kidd, he's a participant in 2 out of the 3 top matches for New Japan in 2025. That's saying something. When he gets hurt in G1, I'm sure that didn't help. But again, all the other stuff that kind of left a little bit of a sour taste in a lot of people's mouths. But not for nothing, the beginning of that year, he was on fucking fire. And 2 out of 3 that stood the test of time for the other 10 months of the year. So, I mean, he had a great beginning of that year, man. He really did.
Yeah, I mean, my question was going to be, how much of that do you think were carried on the vibes, that feeling that, he's ride or die New Japan and have not aged subsequently? But people voted on this at the end of the year, so right. For the majority of our voter base, that still lands with them. I mean, for me, whilst I absolutely love those matches at the time, they are somewhat tainted by everything that happened since. And I think if you take out that element of Gabe being Mr. Shin-Nihon, then that kind of compromises the thematic integrity of the match. So I don't sort of look back on those as fondly as I did at the time. I mean, I enjoyed more of the matches that were kind of a signifier of what's to come in the future. I'm thinking like particularly that Oiwa versus Yuya match from G1 Day 13, which still ranked very highly. That was what, so eighth place on the list. The Yuto versus Yuya match that came in at 9th. So matches like that just made me think, the future's bright. We're in good hands here. And of course, those good vital moments, and like just the quality of the Goto versus Zack matches that they had, like that Tanahashi Jammer, which really annoyed me at the time because it wasn't broadcast live. We had to watch it after the fact, after knowing that the title had changed hands. That was a bit of a head scratcher and took some of the enjoyment away from it. But I think bell to bell, that was a superior match to the New Beginning match where Goto won the title in the first place. But again, like the vibes are a very important part of it. Like I understand that whilst the Tanahashi Jam one might have been a better match in terms of the moves, nothing is going to beat that moment when with Goto finally winning the big one, which was just very, very special.
Yeah. Less of that from New Japan would be great. Less world titles changing hands on shows that you have to wait to watch would be awesome.
Show of the year last year, winner was Wrestle Kingdom 18, second place Power Struggle, third place King of Pro Wrestling. It's a bit slim pickings this year. So runaway winner, of course, New Beginning in Osaka with those 2 matches we talked about. King of Pro Wrestling in second, G1 Climax Night 3 in third. It's interesting that we didn't even put Wrestle Kingdom on the ballot because no one was clamoring for that. I mean, I did my round table of people on the Discord, people on consultants that, what should be going on this, and no one was making the case of Wrestle Kingdom, which is certainly a surprise, and I think probably let down by that main event, which does a lot of the heavy lifting. But New Beginning and Osaka with those two matches, just an outstanding show, great crowds, and it's whet my appetite for New Beginning and Osaka this year.
Yeah, it really does. It makes it, it really did put that, not that it didn't before, but it puts that show on the map. And again, no Wrestle Kingdom, which is probably the first year that's occurred. And, it was such a landslide winner, 61st place votes compared to 10 for King of Pro Wrestling. So I think everyone thoroughly enjoyed New Beginning.
Tag Team of the Year. Last year, the winners were Ichiban Sweet Boys. Second place were War Dogs of Clark Connors, Drill and Maloney. And the third place were Catch 2-2 with Akira and TJP. This year, I was going to reverse order. So third place were Ichiban Sweet Boys. Second place, TMDK, Zack Sabre Jr. and Ryohei Oiwa. And first place, Knockout Brothers with a comprehensive victory. I mean, actually, I should point out that Ichiban Sweet Boys and TMDK were tied with the same number of points. But right. I suppose Ichiban Sweet Boys, maybe we can say that they come in second because they had more first place votes than TMDK did. But I mean, no surprises really that Knockout Brothers won. I think it was a very uneven year in terms of the tag teams because there was very little of interest basically in the heavyweight division prior to Knockout Brothers returning. Basically, I can't, if you ask me to say who were the heavyweight tag team champions before that, I wouldn't be able to tell you. So it's all sort of backloaded towards the latter half of the year, but I think that's just an indicator of how uneven the booking was. So, in an ideal world, we'd be picking tag teams that had consistently great years, but just, the booking didn't reflect that. And
I think some of it is projection, which, again, might not be in the criteria of voting, but, I mean, it was such a landslide that Knockout Brothers won. Pretty comical, but yeah, I think, again, not only what they did in 25, but also I think people are excited for 26. And, of those other tag teams, it's not like we were banging down the door to say, okay, let's see what happens in the heavyweight division. And again, you do have a junior tag team in there as well. So, I mean, no surprise there, I think.
Junior Heavyweight Wrestler of the Year. Last year, the winner was Doki. Second place, El Desperado. Third place, Kosei Fujita. And this year, third place was Hiromu Takahashi. Second place, El Desperado. And first place, Kosei Fujita.
Again, winning Best of Super Junior helps. And I think people are excited for the idea of what's ahead. Despy, I think, even though some of the stuff weren't necessarily New Japan shows, I think the fact that he I was going to say spreads himself thin, but that's not the word I'm looking for. But like he's on shows that people talk about that don't even necessarily have much to do with New Japan per se, but even in New Japan, outstanding year, solid year, I'll go. And this one, even though there was a bit of a distance in points, a little tighter in the middle, but yeah, I don't think there was any doubt about this one.
Yeah, and I know I've been frustrated with the booking of El Desperado, and I don't think that detracts from the fact that he is still an excellent wrestler and had some brilliant matches and had, on paper, a very, very good year in New Japan Pro Wrestling. I just have to compartmentalize my annoyance with the booking with acknowledgement that he delivered very, very high quality in ring. A big controversy. I did not allow the Death Pain Invitational match, the Despy versus Jun Kasai match, to be considered for the ballot here because I thought, I know like in terms of the branding and stuff, people would say it's a New Japan match, but I thought spiritually that didn't really fit what
agree
in New Japan Awards. So if you're looking for that one, sorry, that was my call. I stand by it. But Fujita, well deserved, and Despy, let's separate the the I was going to say the art from the artist. I don't know. Maybe Despy is booking himself in the division. It feels like that sometimes, but still had a really strong year. Unsung wrestler of the year. So last year, the winner was Hiroki Goto, which, very encouraging that he was unsung last year and got all his flowers this year. Second place, Robbie Eagles. Third place, Taichi. This year, in reverse order, third place, Drilla Maloney. Second place, Callum Newman. And first place, Taichi.
There you go. I think well deserved. And it's not like there was a lot of spotlight on Taichi this year, but when he got the tap, he definitely delivered. I like a lot of the names here. I'm down with a lot of it. I like Hartley Jackson getting some votes. That was good to see. Robbie Eagles again, always in the mix, will always be unsung in our eyes. And Drilla Maloney getting some love as well. So but I think if we're looking at Callum taking a big leap this year, Taichi might not be taking a big leap this year, but I think deserved the flowers, right? Deserved the flowers. So I'm sure this column, this bracket of our year-end awards, good things usually come from those people that we have on that list. So I think it's a no-brainer that we'll see Callum in a big role, and even to a certain degree, Drilla. So good stuff there.
Yeah, hopefully the magic of winning our Unsung Wrestler of the Year award will do for Taichi what it did for Goto last year. We'll see Taichi go on a generational run this year and win the big one. But yeah, he was outstanding, both the stuff he did in the tag division and also in the G1, working with guys like Yuya, with David Finlay, just excellent stuff. And, you can always rely on Taichi, and he's a guy who just doesn't get the love from the company that he deserves. But yeah, it's encouraging to see him at least being featured in prominent tag division stuff early this year. Hope he makes the G1 cut because he's still fucking excellent.
Yep.
Breakout performer then. Last year, the winner was Gabe Kidd. Second place, David Finlay. And in third place was Doki. This year, in reverse order, Oleg Boltin in third place. Second place was Yohei Oiwa, and first place, Yuto Ice.
Wow.
So again, like the back half of the year, doing a lot of heavy lifting for Yuto there. It's really captured people's imagination.
Yep, no doubt. And, again, he had a breakout. I mean, he truly had a breakout year. And I think his performance and that tag team Knockout Brothers performance had people at the very least shifting their attention and watching, where it could have fallen right flat on their face, and this could have been just like one of those things where you're just like, oh boy, what the fuck am I watching? But no, they turned it into gold. So that was good to see. I would have liked to have seen Oleg Boltin maybe a little bit higher. My fear with Oleg is that we're going to have a situation where he is lost in the mid card a little bit, maybe. Both guys are green as grass, but could you see like a Boltin Aaron Wolf feud in the relatively near future?
Yeah, definitely. I think given their respective backgrounds, that seems inevitable to me.
I would think so, right? So we'll see what happens here. But yeah, I like that list. Good list. The only one that I'm kind of like, I don't know how you can put a fucking young lion on a breakout. You know what I mean? Like, and again, it's not like he got first place votes, but there were a couple people chucking in Murashima in there. I don't know if I can do that. But Oscar got some.
Daiki Nagai's on there. I mean, we're still counting him as a young lion.
True. I don't know if I'm ready to give breakout performance yet from anybody, Young Lion yet. Let's wait what happens when they get back.
Yeah, fair enough. Moment of the year last year was Zack Sabre Jr. winning the G1. Second place was Goto winning in front of his kids. And third place, Sonata saving Naito from House of Torture at the Dome. This year, in reverse order, third place was Gabe Kidd revealing the lion mark on his tights at Wrestle Dynasty. Second place, Taichi qualifies for the G1 Climax. And first place, Hiroki Goto finally wins the world title in New Beginning in Osaka.
I think that has to, right? I mean, nobody expected it, and nobody thought it was even in the cards. And yet, not only was it an awesome moment, him winning, but even a few of those title defenses were pretty special as well. So, yeah, I mean, that was pretty awesome. The Taichi qualifying for G1 was pretty good as well. Gabe Kidd, you know, he had the world by the balls coming out Wrestle Kingdom. You know, it got you hyped. You were pretty pumped for it. But yeah, I think everyone would agree Goto winning that title finally was the moment of the year.
Last year, biggest disappointment of the year was the booking of ex-WWE wrestlers, Nick Nemeth, Matt Riddle, the first half of 2024 booking. Second place was the Alex Coughlin retirement, and third place the Jon Moxley IWGP World Title reign. This year, in reverse order for biggest disappointment, third place the AEW relationship, second place lack of meaningful pushes for the youth, and first place Doki joining House of Torture.
I don't know if it's the biggest disappointment, but it's up there. Like, I think a lot of people were just like, oh, what in the fuck are they doing with this? Why would you do that? Like, the whole thing was built for that return. And it felt like that left it cold as ice. Meaningful pushes for the youth.
They didn't even do the turn. They just had him walk out and be like, oh, I'm in House of Torture now. If you're going to do the turn, at least show us the turn.
Right. The pushes, again, I think we're finally coming around to that. So I hear you loud and clear, but I think we're coming around in 26. The AEW stuff, to me, that's top of the list. It's just, like I said, we talked about it all year, so no need to go over it again and again. But to me, that's one of the bigger handcuffs this company has, is that relationship. And, you know, maybe it's not as warm as it was in the past. And hopefully, you know, they'll see through it, and, you know, we'll let that dissolve a little bit more and more each and every passing week.
So next is favourite wrestler of the year. So last year, the winner was Zack Sabre Jr., second place Gabe Kidd, third place Shingo Takagi. This year, unsurprisingly, Gabe Kidd has dropped quite far down that list. So in reverse order, third place Yota Tsuji, second place Hiroki Goto. So he's had a big jump up this year. And the winner, again, Zack Sabre Jr., 2 years in a row.
He's my favorite, right? I don't know if I've mentioned that many times on this show. Yeah, absolutely. And well deserved. He was the glue in 2025. All of his matches are at the very least entertaining and good. And, you know, when he's on and he has a dance partner, I mean, the sky's the limit. So he is my favorite. And on my own watching. But again, there's a lot of fun stuff come up in 26. So I would expect that list to change in 26.
The least favourite wrestler of the year. Last year, winner was Chase Owens. Second place, Bad Luck Fale. Third place, Evil. This year, least favourite wrestler. So top three, reverse order. Third place, El Phantasmo.
Oh!
Second place, Don Farley, and first place Chase Owens. So first and second have not changed, but this year Evil's dropped from third place to fourth place, and El Phantasmo has taken his place. El Desperado fifth is quite funny as well. People are very, very mad at the booking there.
I like the Rocky Romero's on there, getting the heat. I'm trying to think of
Takeshita getting a fair bit of hate.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah, Oleg Boltin. How can you hate Oleg Boltin? Like, what is there to hate? That's
one of my favorite things about this category. Like, you always get some totally innocuous wrestlers catching strays for no reason. Like, that's what someone's put Templario as their third least favorite wrestler. Like, what has Templario done to annoy you?
right. Kushina's on this list. Oh no, he's got a 0. Okay, he did not get a vote. Good. Honma got a vote. Robbie X gets a vote. Like, what the fuck? Jake Lee wasn't really around that much, but he even got a stray. Fucking Hanari gets hurt. 2. Come on. Yeah. I do like to see the people who catch strays. Yeah, but look, Chase Owens doesn't annoy me as much as Don Fale. Don Fale is by far number one on my list. So
you say that, but how good was he in Wrestle Kingdom?
Oh, come on! Anybody could have done that. Stop it! No, he's my least favorite. Absolutely least. The fact that he gets paid, somebody writes a check for him is preposterous.
Whilst I do agree with you, I still think he has he carries some cachet with the Japanese fans. Like, there's still, when he is involved in big spots, like either doing something like that or where he gets slammed by a young up-and-coming wrestler, that still elicits quite a big pot from the domestic crowd.
Yeah. I guess. Yes.
Well, that justifies his
right.
his continued employment, but there you go. I thought it was worth pointing out anyway. And the last one is the favourite New Japan faction. So last year, winners were TMDK, second place Bullet Club War Dogs, third place LIJ. This year it was a bit of a funny one because the factions got a bit messed up, but third place were unaffiliated, second place War Dogs, and first place TMDK. So same first and second place as last year.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see how you could go anywhere else but that, unless you're a House of Torture fan, right? And not many, that's for sure. But yes, I can't see how anybody would go any other way.
And some of the funny categories, people sort of submit their own categories. Are you actually a New Japan Wrestler of the Year? Gabe Kidd. Australian Wrestler of the Year you didn't know existed until recently, but now you are overly emotionally interested in and are hoping will inexplicably get a major push and replace Tanahashi as the heart of New Japan, Hartley Jackson. Best middle-aged man who was in A block of the G1 of the Year, Taichi. Best racist of the year, Shingo Takagi.
Oh my.
Big baby of the year, Konosuke Takeshita. Biggest dog wanker, Tony Khan. Biggest interfering shite bag of the year, Tony Khan. Boring, Shota Umino. Call of the year, TK is a money mark, Charlton suspended. Cock tease of the year, Jake Lee's returned. Well, that delivered. I don't think anyone's left with Jake Lee blue balls. Disgusting thing to say. Fandom sustained by podcast, New Japan. Gabe Kidd, least successful attempted AEW run of the year. Goon of the year, Dick Togo. Hog of the year, Driller.
Nice.
Night of the year, Arsenal 3, Real Madrid 0. Yes, the best night of my life. Pipe Dream of the year, AEW not dick punching New Japan every chance it gets. Rant of the year, Damon going nuclear on 10th of October.
Yeah. I lost my mind on that one, didn't I?
Real match of the year, Joel was too salty to list here. El Desperado versus Jun Kasai. Sonata outfit of the year, Giant Gonzalez onesie. Shit show of the year, Dominion. Shithead of the year, Tony Khan for giving media false information. Shittiest Kenny Powers cosplayer of the year, Chase Owens. SMH double pin from Zack Sabre Jr. Goto at Resurgence. I don't know if this is Kaz from Didn't Get All of It, submitted this himself or someone else has done it. Smooth Brain Zone self-promoted podcast of the year, Didn't Get All of It, which is mean but also funny. Strong Survivor of the year, Tanahashi's knees. Honorable mention, Tenzan's ankles. The award for the suit that Walker Stewart is most likely to wear at Wrestle Kingdom 20. Winner, the same fucking blue suit he always wears. Buy a new one, mate.
Fuck yeah.
Theme song of the year, The Lone Star, Outlaw, Wastrel of the year, TJP, weirdest entrance of the year, tie between Sonata in the Giant Gonzalez bodysuit and random guy in a Sonata mask. I will miss Sonata for his weird entrances, if nothing else. What was the point moment of the year? Doki and Show winning Super Junior Tag League. Worrying over dedication to NJPW of the year. Watching the G1 final with an eye shot of the body of my father-in-law who had died the previous evening. What?
What?
What on earth?
What the fuck?
I'm going to need more details. Whoever that was, get in touch. I want to know why
we need
was
to know.
the body still there after the previous evening.
Is it a wake? Are you watching fucking New Japan at your father-in-law's wake? Wow.
Imagine it being a funeral and everyone crowding around his phone while he's watching a New Japan World.
Unbelievable.
Come on, Evil, you can do it. Worst promo video of the year, Chase Owens tries to ride a horse. And WTF moment of the year, 2 Sonatas at KOPW. So a lot of love for Sonata's 20 entrances there. And that's it. That's the year-end awards. Come to a close.
Love it. Excellent job. Those are my favorite parts of the people who have their own awards they dole out. Very creative, very funny. We have the best listeners in the world. All right. Unfortunately, I have to get out of here soon. So
No, we're done.
Oh, we're wrapping it up? Good. Wrap it up.
Consider it wrapped.
If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.
My name is Tyler Fornes, and I am one of the co-hosts of the Good, the Bad, and the Hungy AEW podcast here on the Voice of Wrestling Podcasting Network. We take a broad scope approach to the world of All Elite Wrestling and the entire universe of Tony Khan. We talk about the big matches, the big stars, the promos, the storylines, and we also look at it from a big picture perspective. How are things going to change over the course of the next 10 years with AEW still in the picture? How are companies like WWE going to adapt and adjust to AEW? Are they going to be a similar way like they did with WCW in the late 1990s? Will there be a counterpunch? We talk about all of that and more on The Good, the Bad, and the Hungy every week on the Voice of Wrestling Network.
Hi, I'm Case Lowe, co-host of the Open the Voice Gate podcast. The one question I'm constantly asked when it comes to Dragon Gate is how do I get into the promotion? Well, stop asking and start listening to the Open the Voice Gate podcast, released every Wednesday on the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. For exclusive news and show reviews, look no further than the leader in Dragon Gate coverage, Open the Voice Gate.